Hello. So my name is Erez Naveh. Ezra is close, but almost. And can we switch to the deck? And I'm here to talk about what I would call a country GPT. Okay, imagine that the country, like Guatemala in this example, will have its own chat GPT. How it will look like and how it will help the citizen of the country. So a little bit about me. The funny part is my partner that I met in another conference is just speaking in the next room. Dot Lang is right now on another stage. Other than that, I have a lovely family and boys, and I work at, as he said before, at Come to Play, which is a gaming company initiated by me and the angel investor Yossi Vardi, who is a part of this conference, and later at Meta, and now I'm VP product at Bright Data, which is structuring the open web. Basically taking any website and building it as a data set, so you can train AI and you can do price strategy and so on. But I'm here to talk about something else. I'm here to talk about AI. So first of all, AI is a tricky word because what we have at the moment is not really AI. It's not intelligence. It's large language models, right? We have models that understand language and they know how to predict the next word. They are trained on a large data set of language, let's say English, we take all of the web, Wikipedia and so on, and we train it by removing a word each time and letting it guess the next word, what it will be. That's how we train it. The transformation method behind that is much more complex, but in general, we are dealing with something that knows how to predict language, but it also can be used for images, videos, sounds, code, data analysis. But again, all it does is predict the next word or sentence, and it doesn't really have intelligence, but it produces amazing results, like passing the US medical exam, the law exam, the business school exams, and so on. Really, less than a week ago, Meta, where I previously worked, has launched the next generation of glasses, and I think it's the only time in the world, the first time, that AI will be on your face, in your ear, and be able to watch what you see at the moment. It'll be able to see it and interpret it. And it's really an amazing transformation if you think about it, because whatever you do, you can ask the AI in real time, oh, what do I do now? How do I cook this? How do I fix that? How do I learn this? And it can help you in real time. But what's the problem with this and all the AIs that are coming? So Google has a new flagship AI, Gemini, and Ajax by Apple is coming. You know, they have the old Siri now. And of course, Meta has the language models. But those glasses cost $400. Yeah? What about us? What about the farmer family in Guatemala, right? How will they enjoy this AI revolution? How will they enjoy access to intelligence, right? It's the revolution of intelligence. If we had access to knowledge and information, now we have access to intelligence. And those people need it as much as we do. Because in the previous image, this person will be enhanced. Right? Basically, he works with an online assistant that can help him with anything, and he will grow farther and farther away from this family of this farmer that will not have this enhancement. They will not become the cyborg that the other person is. So how do we help those? And to do that, let's first look at some of the big challenges that we're facing. So let's take education, healthcare, and agriculture. So in education, half of the students don't complete primary school. 20% are illiterate. I'm illiterate a little bit. Average years of schooling is only 7.4 years. Girls are on average 3.5 years behind boys. And children in rural areas are 3.3 years behind children in urban areas. And last but not least, the official language here is Spanish, but 30% speak 21 other languages. And there are no textbooks in those languages. It's like the main language and the exams and everything is in Spanish, right? So how do they learn? Those are a lot of challenges, and to help a country, we need to start from the roots, and the roots of a country are education. If we'll lift education up, the country, the entire country, and I hope the entire region will be also lifted up. So the opportunities are immense. By the way, I'm only here to inspire and give you the idea. I need all of your help to actually make it work, and I really need you to think about it and give more feedback so we can build it together. So, few ideas that I came up with, but again, come up with more. What AI can do, and I'm calling it AI, but it's now at the moment it's LLMs, it's large language models. What it can do, because it has memory, and when I write it, it can know who I am based on my phone number, right? Let's say we are sticking to WhatsApp at the moment. It's hyper personal. Everything about the education is hyper personal. If I'm asking something, it understands my level, it understands where I'm stuck, it understands where it needs to explain more and more and more and dive into that subject, and it can be hyper personal learning experience where teachers are scarce. It's really hard to find good teachers, and this is one tool that can help education by being hyper-personalized. I'm jumping to the last one. You're asking, okay, hyper-personalized, but how can we do it in their language? There are 21 languages. So, again, jumping into another slide, there is a large language model which is open source by Meta that translates from 210 languages. And it does it with speech, it does it with text, text to speech, and so on. And it's open source, and we can build a model that is trained on Spanish and translate to any language, or English, and then translate to any language in real time. The content can be engaging. It's much less boring than to sit in class, right? I can be more engaging. It can be a conversation. It can be adaptable. So those are a few ideas, and I hope that we'll tie them up soon. Agriculture. Climate change is a big one. Erratic weather patterns that are changing all the time. Extreme weather that impact crop yield. Financial resources of modern farming technologies, all the necessary financial resources and equipment and the new technology, and they face volatile pricing all the time. It's really hard to get track on that and understand what's coming ahead. Again, education, it's not only confined to the little girl, but also to the farmer. There's limited knowledge in modern type of sustainable farming practices and crop diseases, pesticides and disease management. So many challenges with such a high risk for farmers that basically keeps their family hungry. I just learned it yesterday that farmers are the population that are most exposed to hunger, because they can mostly eat their own crop, but they are not exposed to, because of the funds, they don't have bread or meat or whatnot. Let's talk about opportunities. Now, let's say that this farmer has this phone. By the way, the images, the pictures are made with AI, all of them. you might notice with a weird face. So hyperlocal predictive analysis with AI can help us understand when to plant, when to harvest, what is the right timing, what are the fluctuation in pricing, facilitate microloans as well. That's, by the way, part of the business model can be providing a lot of value and microloans to sustain this model. Let's talk about it in a bit. Hyperlocal training. You all know this ad, I'm sure, of an app that takes picture of your plant at home and tells you, oh, do you need to water it? Or do you? They train this model for the American household. The plants are local plants for the American household, North America, not for the farmer in Guatemala, not for the soil here, not for the weather here, not for the crops that they have, not for the problems and pesticide, for the tools, right? If you'll ask right now, open ChatGPT by OpenAI, and ask it for a problem in Guatemala, let's say I have a headache in Guatemala, what do I do? The first answer will be, activate your insurance, right? What insurance? So it's not hyper-local to us, to this soil, to our problems. Same goes to healthcare. Access to healthcare in rural areas, really hard to find. There's shortage in personnel, in telemedicine. The quality of healthcare can be variable, shortage of quality healthcare professional and well-equipped facilities. Guatemala has a high maternity mortality. I think that was in the previous video as well, compared to other Latin American countries, partially due to limited access to parental care and education. Again, it's a lot of education and access to asking the question, getting the right answers. Infectious diseases are still a problem here, but let's see what we can do with all those issues with AI. Again, brainstorming ideas together with you. So, remote consultation and monitoring is a big thing. If I can ask my friendly consultant on WhatsApp, what do I do with this problem? And it can also not only answer, but also monitor it and help me track how I deal with it and what do I do, and maybe escalate it to some local doctor that is coming soon and can give the summary and all of that. That's a huge help that we can save a lot of personnel, a lot of professional personnel by doing that. We can also assist the professionals, right? They are not being kept updated with all the new trends, all the new information, all the new research. By having one source that will help them in real time as an assistant for the professional that is checking them, that's a huge advantage, right? We can also give that to nurses that will go and check them up instead of doctors, because now they have in their pocket a doctor that will help them. Predictive analysis comes into hand. Again, leveraging AI for predictive analysis will help identify risk factors for health, aiding early interventions, and potentially reducing maternity mortality rates. And enhance disease surveillance system. So it can help with COVID spread, and it can help with HIV and AIDS, which is still a problem. Now, let's talk about how it can actually be done. So, I've listed here really few of the latest models that are open source and free for anyone to use. Llama 2 by Meta is an open foundation chat model. So, in order to understand language and have the conversation and understand how to teach and all of that, Meta has done the heavy lifting. Meta and OpenAI and Google soon have done the heavy lifting, and all we need to do is basically build the model that is hyper-local, so the chat model can ask it question and get relevant answers that are relevant to this issue and this country. So the conversation and the speech-to-speech and speech-to-text translation, and even read along from Google AI, which is learning to read. And there are many, many open source models that we can build upon. and we don't need to invent the wheel, and we don't need those huge farm of computers to start training that and millions of dollars in training. That's not what we need to do, and I'll show it in a bit. Because, okay, this is an example of how Meta trained that model. What they did is basically took Common Crawl, which is the internet. It's just like Google is crawling the web, or Bright Data is where I work at right now, are scraping the web, the open web, and took that HTML, cleaned it, and with context and with metadata, and now they fed it into the machine, and that's, as you can see, the main source of the training. But you can also find here Wikipedia and books and Stack Exchange for code. Basically what they did is they took a lot of content and used the transformers to build a language model. So that is done. What we need to do, what is missing for us, for Guatemala and for other countries to make it hyper-local, is to build those data sets to train on. So instead of Common Crawl, instead of Wikipedia, it should be education in Guatemala for 6 years old. It should be math for 7-year-old. It should be healthcare. It should be agriculture issues with pesticides. We need to build those models, and the language model will plug into them and serve that community. The population here is 18 million, but we have 20 million cell phones. Okay, so even the farmers and their kids have phone. That problem is solved. A gigabyte of cellular data is $1.28 here. The amount of data that is being transformed from a customer to the chat is absolutely nothing, right? We can't come close to even the 28 cents if I'll text all day, because it's not even a megabyte, right? We are talking about text. There's no video, there's no pictures in most cases. If there is, then it's worth a lot more for the farmer, let's say, to take a picture, to show, and to get those answers back. And overall, the trend is that the average compute cost dropped by 99% in the past 20 years, and it will keep on dropping, and the same will go to AI in general. In a matter of resources, of human resources, such an endeavor for a country is really small. A team of 8 people, 8 professionals, machine learning engineer, data engineer, developers, can deal with it, because we are not talking about inventing the wheel. We are not talking about competing with OpenAI, with Meta, with all of those. No, no, no. We are building our own proprietary data set to train each one of the models for our country. And because of that, the time for each of those models, if done right, is 4 to 6 months for this team. Going issue by issue and building the model and plugging it into the large language model in order to train it and see that it works and the flow is working well. So key takeaway, let's democratize intelligence. Let's do that for each country. The accessibility through mobile devices is there. Again, 20 million devices for 18 million people. We can leverage open source models and train them on hyper-local data sets, and a small team can make a really large impact. I invite you all to think about it more. I'm sure that it's new for some of you. And this is my LinkedIn. Please add me. I would love to get more of your ideas and get this rolling. Thank you very much.